Hello and welcome to another Product Spotlight. I'm John and today we're looking at some HSC Newsprint boxcars. These are 50-foot boxcars made by Atlas. They're offered in undecorated versions for $29.95 MSRP or in decorated versions like these for $36.95 MSRP. I'm being specific to mention MSRP because that's the manufacturer's suggested retail price, and it does not change depending where you go. And your best bet is to go to the Atlas website, see if they have what you're looking for, because they have a whole bunch of these listed on the website. Then shop around for the best price, because the MSRP is usually discounted in most places where you go to buy these things. So since we have two of these, we're going to look at this brown Canadian National one in detail, and then we'll kind of skim over the Canadian Pacific one in a little bit less detail. And the reason for that is their details should be very, very similar, if not identical, but the main difference is that the paint jobs are different. And looking at this Canadian National boxcar, you can see that the paint covers nice and evenly, and the yellow paint on the doors really makes the doors stand out. There's a lot of separately applied detail on these models, including the ladders on the ends like this. And then look at the detail around the door. It just looks really good. And I'm pretty sure that this tack board is a separately applied part. It's kind of hard to tell. If it's molded, it's done in a way that makes it look like a separately applied part. And then, of course, all of the writing down here in the information area is all legible, including the build date of December of 1966. Looking at the brake end of this car, you can see it has separately applied ladder details on both sides. This is a separately applied brake wheel and chain detail. One of the really nice details on these models is that this is a photo-etched platform here. Very finely rendered detail. Here's a quick look at the other side. You can see how evenly the paint is applied and how crisp the markings are on this side as well. This look at the A end of the model reveals the same kind of detail, separately applied ladders and such. And of course, that nicely rendered photo-etched platform on the end. Here's a brief look at the roof of the car, and you can see it has the sort of corrugated pattern you'd expect to see on a boxcar like this. And now a look at the bottom of the car, which shows a lot of very finely rendered, separately applied brake detail parts down here. And while we're looking at it, you can also see that it comes with the metal wheels and a body-mounted knuckle coupler. All right then, I've pulled the old switcheroo on you, and we're now looking at the Canadian Pacific car, looking at the bottom of it, and you can see it has that same kind of detail, and the metal wheels and body mount knuckle couplers. Looking at the roof of this car, it looks almost exactly the same as the roof of the last car, the difference being that this one's painted black. Here's a look at the A end of the Canadian Pacific car. You can see it has the same kind of details, including those separately applied ladders. Again, the tack board looks separately applied. I'm not sure if it is, but like I said, it really looks separately applied to me. And then, of course, it also has the photo-etched platform on the end. And I didn't mention the corrugated ends on the brown model because I think it shows up a little bit better on this black end. Looking at the paint and markings on this car, you can see that it's also really crisp. And just like on the Canadian National car, the detail around the doors is a real standout feature to me. This looks like it should open. Now, the doors don't open, but I'm just saying the detail around the doors looks good enough that I feel like it should open. And that's something that I really like in a model like this. Here's the brake end of this car. You can see it also has the separately applied ladders, brake wheel, platform, and as you can see, the corrugated end also shows up really well on this black end. And the last thing we'll look at is the other side of the car, which once again shows great coverage on the paint and really, really crisp markings. The logo looks especially good. And once again, all this writing down here is legible. And this car has a build date of April of 1967. The model weighs 4.9 ounces. According to my cheat sheet, the NMRA recommended weight for a car of this length is about 4.5 ounces. So it's right up there, maybe even a little bit heavier than you'd expect it to be, or than you'd want it to be. But that's good, because heavier cars tend to track better than cars that are underweight. This is another very solid release from Atlas, and I think it belongs in their Master Series because the separately applied details, like those end platforms that are photo etched, look really good. And the detail around the doors especially looks good. So great job, Atlas. I'll see you next time.